Welcome, Anas.
Thank you very much.
You are the manager of operations at Food Family Group.
Yes,
And,
in Aarhus, yeah.
In Aarhus, yes. Yeah. And you also previously owned your own restaurant, Ghrelin.
Yeah, I own Ghrelin, yeah.
Some people might know you better as BigCheff as well, due to your online presence. Maybe we'll talk a bit further about that later on. But one thing we usually ask at the beginning of any conversation is how you got into the hospitality industry in the first place. So maybe you could tell us more about that.
I don't think it's that special, actually. I think a lot of people, they've been doing cooking or being interesting in wines or service or something from a young age, or they were just at a point in their life that they didn't know what to do. And that's kind of my story. I played some sports like many other kids did, and it didn't go the way that one could hope. And then I was like, okay, so what am I going to do now? I didn't pay attention in school. I wasn't good in school, and I liked it. I liked to use my body and my physical appearance and my high tolerance for pain and stress. I wanted to use it for something, and that became the restaurant business. So I actually started because I really didn't fit in anywhere, and you could go the wrong way with gangs and crime and whatever when you're a big guy that doesn't know what you want to do, and you were kind of. I didn't really find my place in my youth. But the restaurant business was the place for me. Yeah. So it's kind of, just a thing that happened, actually.
Did you quickly realize that was your place when you started in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, first day I noticed, because I came from a team sport, and in the restaurant, the head chef was kind of the coach, and there were staff commis chefs and sous chefs that were better than me. So, just coming in and knowing your place and know what is your job and how we're going to do this action together. That made me very comfortable, because there was no questions. This was just like a team effort. The whole idea about cooking and the whole food idea never really. It was never the food, actually. It was more the environment. So right away I figured out that this is a place where I can use my size and the way that I want to do things, kind of the hardcore way. The restaurant business was just perfect at that time.
How do you mean, like, use my size and everything? Sorry, maybe a weird question, but can you elaborate on that?
No, because for me, at that point, I felt like I didn't really bring much to anything. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't feel book smart. I didn't feel like I fit in. I was kind of like in a weird place in my life. And the only place that I really feel like I was comfortable was actually using my size for. I did some underground cage fighting and some on the fighting scene in Denmark, and for some reason that suited me. The stress and the anxiety going into a fight, doing the fight. The pain afterwards. I loved the feeling that I actually did something. For some reason I just didn't feel wrong in a way. I feel like this is a place for me. Yeah.
And how did you find that same satisfaction in the kitchen?
Well, that was the whole idea of your training the whole day. Like the whole day you're training because you're prepping in the kitchen, and you need to be aware of what the other guys are doing that are better than you, because you want to do the same. So every day you kind of had a standard that you could meet. This was not talking about, okay, let's do an education. It takes 3 years or 4 years. So sit down in school and listen and understand these things.
This was practical, huh?
It was right away. This is a carrot. This is how you peel it. This is how you chop it. This is how you boil it. This is how you make it a soup. Okay. And for me, the short span of that just fit my mentality and my, at that time, very aggressive nature. If you do something good, you don't get praised or anything, but you don't get yelled at. So if you didn't get yelled at, you were doing good. But if you get yelled at, it's because you should do something different, and you should do it different now. And for me, that just fit my mentality a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It makes it so much more fun than other usual jobs. I also started myself in the kitchen back then. I just remember it's harsh, but it's kind of pleasant. The way it's harsh, because you're learning all the time.
You're learning, and you understand why, because people are going to tell you when you do something wrong.
Yeah, and also when you do something good, they might not tell you too much about, oh, yeah, that was awesome, but usually silence is the good thing. But you know that it was good because you constantly get to learn something that's a bit more challenging. Right?
Exactly.
Like before you know it, you get to move up a station. And
it just goes. And I just figured out, if I stay in the kitchen at all times and never spend some time off, the opportunity is going to come to me. At some point, the guy on the hot section or the meat section or the fish section, they're going to be sick or they're going to be doing something different. And then I'm the next guy. So for me, it was just like, shut up and look down on your table. And for some reason, that just suited me as well. I might as well have went to the military. But for me, the kitchen was just the place.
It's literally just working your ass off. Sounds like it. I'm curious, you said that you had underground cage fights.
Yeah.
Was this before you went into the industry?
Yeah. I went from doing my sports and I got injured and it didn't really go my way that the way I wanted to go. You know, the same story for basically every guy that wanted to do something with the sport in the teenage years.
Yeah.
And I was very depressed about it. I was very sad. I was very negative. I blamed everybody else for me not having success, and the only place I fit in was in the dark side of the world. It was in the nitty-gritty streets and the way places where you don't do productive things. And the most gentleman thing I could do that was not good was actually, arranged cage fights. Because, I'm not beating up on people and they're not beating up on me. We are deciding to do this for a show. It becomes
a bit of a sport.
It becomes, back then nothing was called like MMA or stuff like that, or at least we didn't do it. It was just us having fun. But for me, it was a place where I could actually feel something. I could feel the anxiety and stuff like that. And especially with Ghrelin, I was anxious every day because people come in with big expectations and we wanna shoot higher than the actual expectations. So you have nothing to kind of measure on. You just have, your own gut feeling. And that whole stressful, very compact environment was just something that I really, really enjoyed.
Can you take us back to that moment where you decide to open Ghrelin? So at this point, you had a lot of experience, many years behind you.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to open Ghrelin because we were working, me and my partner Niklas was working at a very, very good restaurant in Aarhus, and very respected restaurant, and I was the sous chef, and he was I was the head chef, he was the sous chef. And one day the owner comes in. I have very, very much respect for him. A very, very good guy. I actually love that guy. He came in and said, the next starter on the next menu, we had a 10-course menu. Let's do something with shrimp and yuzu and stuff like that, because that's kind of what's moving in the world. And yeah, sure. And we did it. And it was a great dish. And a couple of days later, me and Niklas was just sitting down and saying, why are we doing dishes because somebody else is doing that kind of stuff? Why are we not just doing what we know the guest at the restaurant loves? Why are we even taking the chance? Like, the guest loved the dish, but why are we taking the chance? Why do we want to change something that works? Why are you
starting by the hype?
Yeah, and why are we putting beetroot hummus in a shawarma? Why are we putting pumpkin in a cheeseburger? Kind of like, the cheeseburger is what the people expect at a burger restaurant, and this was just fine dining. And we just thought, okay, let's do what we're doing at this restaurant, but let's do it at the guests. What do the guests want? Let's just do scallops, cauliflower, and brown butter tasted with soy, and we can just do it in 4 different ways over 4 years. We're going to do a dish that people love, and we're just going to change it a bit, but we don't need to change just for the sake of changing. So we just wanted to make a restaurant for the guests, and that's why, as we talked about before a couple of years ago, the acoustics, the seats, the tables, the lighting, the music, everything is for the guest. It's not what I think is the best. Is what the experience says the guest wants. So we wanted to try to do something for the guests, and then we just did it.
I've never seen a restaurant quite like it.
Oh, thank you very much.
It was really complete, and every single detail was thought through.
Yeah,
we should post a video after we release the episode, just so people can take a look at it.
Remember, even the hand sanitizer was developed not to smell too much, so it didn't impact the food. It was just really thought through.
Ghrelin logo on the sanitizer.
Yeah, but like the hand sanitizer was a big issue at Corona because people brought their own, or restaurants or different shops and stuff, they bought the cheapest one because people were using it a lot. And the problem is it changed the smell in the restaurant so much that some of the wine loses their quality and the guests are actually bothered by it. But because it was just normal here in Denmark that, you needed to use it because of Corona, people just accepted it. I didn't accept it. So we made hand sanitizer for every table so that people have their own that wouldn't interfere with the experience that we wanted to. So yeah, we just wanted to keep evolving, but evolving at how much can we do for the guests. The food was great, the wine was great, but the focus was the service and the guest experience.
You also just mentioned you started out with the idea of building something for the guests.
Yeah.
You had a selection of guests, like you had a bit of a higher end concept. Like, how did you start by figuring out what the guest wanted in the first place?
Experience throughout the restaurants I've been working at. Yeah. So at that point of time, fine dining in Aarhus especially was very stiff. It was very flamboyant. It was very strict. So a lot of people were actually scared of eating fine dining because people were scared that they didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do with 3 knives and 3 forks? You know, so we wanted to take that level down. And the restaurant that we were working at, Niklas and I at that time, were very good at it. Maybe the best, maybe one of the best restaurants still to this day, to actually have guests lower their shoulders soon, like making sure that they're actually relaxed. So I did a Ghrelin, I did things in 3s. So the one section, people are anxious, they're spending a lot of money, they booked a hotel, they might not have been eating like this before, they're excited, they may be on a date, family, whatever. People are a bit anxious to come in and they smell good and they brush their teeth and, you know, we need them to come in and sit down and relax. And the second part is they start to kind of look around, okay, where am I? And this smells good, or this is bad, or, you know, they're just taking everything in. And the third stage was actually where they just sit down, relax, have a conversation with the guys they are eating with and experiencing the things that we have. Some restaurants have the concept where they don't ever go for the third half. Alchemist is a beautiful exception where you come in for this big food show, this restaurant, this very flamboyant, a lot of, you know, impressions all the time. But if us 3 was sitting and eating at Alchemist, it would be not many minutes where we can actually just have a talk about whatever, because we're just bombarded with the impressions. And that's that kind of concept. Ghrelin was the concept where I wanted us to sit down and talk. So how are you actually doing? How are you enjoying Denmark, and what are you doing when you're not sitting here? But we need to get over the first stage and the second stage first. So that was kind of what we did, and we just figured it out throughout experience, both before Ghrelin and of course when we opened Ghrelin. It wasn't perfect in the beginning at all, but we just thought about what is it actually the guest wants when they come out and eat. They're not, you know, some guests are of course coming to a restaurant to experience the chef's work or the sommelier's work. But we wanted to be a restaurant where you just come and have a good time with somebody that you love, or somebody that you want to do business with, or somebody that you want to impress, or yeah.
And now that Ghrelin is no longer active,
yeah,
and you're looking back at it, what's your takeaways? What went really well? What went wrong?
Oh, a lot of things went wrong. Like, I think that when we sold it and we stopped working at Ghrelin this December, we left it at a good place. We left it with a lot of possibilities and a big potential. And we in the owner group just decided that we need to do something different to kind of fit the market. And that something was not me and Niklas, and that was our decision. The things that needed to be done for us to evolve into the way the business is right now, we just didn't have it in us anymore. We didn't have the 80-hour work weeks for low money, or the idea of building something, because we already did that a couple of times, actually 3 times. And now we have wives and kids, and, you know, at some point I knew that Ghrelin was going to end, because the way that you love a restaurant and the way that you love guests that I did, you can't do that. And also, in my opinion, at least the way I did it, you can't have a family at the same time. You know, you can't love the guest and love your son, because you can't love
There's
them in the same way. No,
Yeah.
there's just not enough time to do it. And I was afraid that at some point I was going to be standing at Ghrelin, wishing to be at home instead. And if I went home, I would being home with my son, thinking I want to be at Ghrelin. And I just took took that decision before it actually was forced on me. Yeah,
must have been tough to take that decision.
It was very tough, but like I just went through a big change in my life with the whole weight loss thing, and my mentality and the way that I see things changed. And I knew, if we were going to do the change at Ghrelin that we decided to do, and if I was still the head of the operation there, at 1 or 2 years, I would be in a situation where I'd rather be home than in the restaurant. And then Ghrelin as a project is better for me to leave it and then focus on myself and my family. And working like I did is not healthy for anybody. It's a part of my life and I love it, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And nobody forced me to it. Nobody told me to do it. This is how I want to do things. But I knew it was on a set time period. Yeah, but yeah, it was hard. It was hard saying the last goodbye New Year's Eve. It was hard telling the world about it. It was hard seeing it not succeed afterwards. Seeing the things that you build getting just didn't working. That was hard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like, still your own baby.
It's still, still my name. Like when Ghrelin did bad or they went bankrupt or they had bad publicity or whatever, it's still Ghrelin, the name that I decided.
Yeah, and still a lot of people will associate it with you. Even though
and that's the thing.
You're no part of it anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that I work with are still working with me. We just moved them to Food Family Group. I'm still working with my wife. I'm still working with my sommeliers, my chefs. So the team is intact, but Ghrelin is no more, and I think it's okay. I'm starting to be okay with it because now it's not there. It's actually easier for me when it's not there, that there is no Ghrelin.
Makes sense, like out of sight, out of mind in a way, right?
Exactly, but like just choosing a name for a restaurant, like it's such a weird process. Like,
how did you come up with the name?
Oh, it was crazy. We went to like a summer vacation house for 4 days to figure
just to
it
get
out.
a name.
Yeah, it's like, but it's crazy. Like if let's say if you have a kid and let's say you went to school with a guy called Jacob and he was an idiot.
Yeah.
And your girl and your girlfriend.
I love a story that starts like you went to school to a guy.
And your wife was like, yeah, let's call him Jacob, and you're like, no, because I know a guy.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about a restaurant name, there's so many things you need to you need to think about. Nobody else has called it. Then what's the meaning of it? Can people spell it? Can they pronounce it? How is it on Google? All that kind of. It was so bad.
We went to a similar thing once because we had to change the name of the company.
Yeah.
It's all the same things.
It's such a hard process. And then my partner Niklas, his wife is a doctor, and he's kind of a nerd. So he read her books for some reason, and
inspiration is everywhere. Right?
Yeah, and then he was like, he just, I don't know, he kind of looked up hunger or stomach or whatever, I don't know, but he came at Ghrelin, and the meaning is this thing that makes us hungry for things that are delicious, not only things that we need, but things that are delicious. And then we just kind of took it in with the whole interior and the acoustics and everything. So we just, it's an appetite for more than just food. So we kind of got it in there, and we liked the way it looked. We liked the meaning of it, and then we just run with it. But no, we were actually not agreed on it. We just decided that we had to take it because we need to figure out a name now. And we got very mad at each other, us 4 people doing it, but because nobody was actually loving it, but it was the one that we hated the least. But yeah, we're very happy about it now.
Yeah, and then it grows on you over time.
It does. You just have to use it.
We had a very similar situation. Yeah. The name we went with was on the list for quite a while. We just decided to do it very slowly, constantly drop names. If you like it, you got some thumbs up on it. But and then over time, we couldn't settle either. And then we just ended up looking back and we saw work feed and we're like, that's actually pretty good. And then we're all like, let's take that one, and we weren't necessarily loving it, but now
it makes sense.
Exactly, and now it just feels so good. Yeah, I guess that's also good advice for people. It's like, don't overthink it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. But like, but it is personal because it's always gonna be stuck with me. The awards we won, the guests, where people know you from. Yeah, it's a big thing, and it was hard. It was not that hard stopping there because that was my own choice, but it was hard to see what happened afterwards. That's kind of hard.
What happened in your life after you stopped working there? You had a bit of a period where you didn't.
Yeah,
do
well,
much, right?
the thing is, but then the whole television thing happened, right?
Yeah.
So we 1st of January, people knew that I sold Ghrelin. Went to the media. 7th of January, I was in Danish television talking about the TV program I did and my weight loss and stuff like that. So everything was just boom, boom, boom all the time. And
can you tell a bit more about the TV program in the meantime as well?
Yeah. Well, the TV program I did was called Fem Fede Kokke, so it's just five fat chefs. It sounds comedic, but it really isn't. And that was a period of 4 months where we were actually, working out and doing things on television, and people kind of slide along for the ride of what we did, and it makes a lot of notoriety on my name as well, more than it always had from either Ghrelin or social media. But people kind of figured out that I was more than just a chef, and actually I'm more like a hospitality guy, and also the way that I want to help people, the way that I want to evolve, and how my mentality is of things, and that's why I'm doing the whole coaching thing as well. It's like I just figured out that if I'm doing good, helping other people, things are gonna happen. So a lot of eyes came on me as more than a chef. Where a lot of chefs, if they get the possibility to go on television and show their skills, they want to be a celebrity chef, or they want to, do stuff with their skills. I just never had the skills or the inspiration to do stuff like that.
As you also just said, right? It's never been about the food.
No, it's never been about the food, and that maybe that with the television also kind of evolved as a real thought for me. Like it's okay to be a chef, recognized and respected for your cooking, but it's not really what I'm doing. Like I'm good at making people cook for me, and I'm good at understanding the guest and telling a chef what we need to do for a dish to hit it. It's not because I want the dish to be that way. And now as an operational manager for Food Family Group, I'm thinking about what's good for the business and what's good for the guest, and let's find the middle. And sometimes it's more to the left and sometimes it's more to the right. But that whole experience of learning that way of the business has just been very interesting as well.
What's the first findings you did when you went into the new job, Food Family Group? Like
that I've been spared for a lot of administrative work by my partners and my partner Niklas and my wife Stephanie. Like because now I have a job and I need to do some of the things that before I just did like this, right? I'm just the face and I make things happen, but like I always like just drop the ball at people doing it. But also how it is to run a restaurant that is not fine dining, because fine dining restaurants, if you don't look at the economics, it's actually quite easy because everybody in the restaurant want to be there and they want to be there bad. Like we never we never searched for staff or anything. They was just waiting to come and have the experience of working with you. And your only job is to make sure to treat them with respect, because they don't do that in every restaurant, and especially not in fine dining. But here's different. Here I have to work with people that are just cooks that just love cooking, and they want to cook 40 hours a week, and they want to have days off. And when they're not in the restaurant, they don't expect you to contact them. Where in fine dining, or at least in Ghrelin, it was totally different. We were always in contact. We were always talking about ideas. If the staff was off, they were either off for a wedding or they were off for eating someplace to get inspiration. Like, it's just so different. It's not the right way, but it's not the wrong way either.
Now people now are just having a job.
Yeah, they're just having a job, and it's something that I need to learn. Like my CEO is like, well, so what are you gonna do for Easter vacation, or what are you gonna do for spring vacation? I'm like,
do I have a choice?
No, nothing, please. Can I just work? So what are you doing for summer? Working, maybe work a bit less, but like it's just what I do, and I'm actually the only member of staff that is not using any scheduling plan system, because I really don't like it. I don't like being at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I just want to work all the time, but I'm never working 100%. I'm always working just 80. And then something happens, I can go to 100. Something isn't happening, I go to 60. But like, that's kind of my way of managing my stress, is just always being on, but not being too much on. So yeah, I really had to learn how to just have a job, because I feel so much ownership of what I do and so much personality and passion in everything I do. I don't do it if I don't want to do it. And it's the same with work. Like I'm not good at, if my wife asks, oh, should we go down there and shop? Nope, don't want to. Nope. And then she can say, well, it's important to me. Okay, because I decide to be a good husband. But if you ask me, if you want to, nope, no. And when you're just working, if you just have a job, there's gonna be things that you need to do that you might not think are so interesting. The company I'm working at are so flexible. They're like, okay, Anders, you succeed if you do what you do, so you just do what you do. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Quick question about the transition you had from going from a lot of years in fine dining. What are some of the most useful things that you use or learned there or experienced there that you apply now at your new job?
The guest is still the most important thing.
Is that something you noticed when you came in, that it wasn't maybe at the center of attention?
Yeah, because the cooks that just cook, they think about their cooking and how can we do things easier for them. Let's take a vegan. If you're really passionate about what you're doing, you don't care if you have to do a vegan menu. It doesn't matter. It bothers you. It's annoying, but you're gonna do it because you are passionate about cooking and you're passionate about the experience. But if you're a cook, you want to cook your things, and a vegan I would like a vegan menu. No, you need to eat what I'm doing.
They just remove the steak and say, here you go.
Exactly. And that's what happens. And the guest is the most important thing. It can be a brunch buffet. It could be small pieces of smørrebrød. It can be whatever. Whatever I do, I always look at how is the guest interpreting what we're doing? How are they taking it? But also the staffing, having them understand who are you cooking for? Are you cooking for a paycheck, or are you cooking for people actually eating what you do? What's the difference between having a sandwich where the salad is not rinsed and the sandwich where the salad is rinsed?
It's empty your mouth.
It's a huge difference. But it says on the bag it's already rinsed.
It seems like it comes very natural for you to see things from the guest perspective.
It's the only way I can see things. Like now I'm learning how to do it at a big, business perspective. But as long as the guests are happy, we have a business. So for me, it's staff. Happy staff makes good food. Good food, good service makes happy guests. Happy guests comes, they repeat their visit. And that's where you make money. You don't make money at the first visit. You make it on the second and the third and the fourth. So having guests being, treated good and having a good time is just the most important thing. And I am a born pleaser. Like, I never leave a room. I never leave my wife in a room without asking her, what can I do for you? I never leave my job, if it's at the office or if it's one of the restaurants, without saying, do you need anything before I leave? And you can call me whenever you need me. I do it every day. People are annoyed by it, but I do. I never leave the sofa in the evening without asking my wife, should I get something for you? If she hadn't asked me for anything, 15 minutes, half an hour into a film, I'm going to ask you, do you need anything? No. Do you need a glass of water? Yeah, I do. And then I, stand up, go to the kitchen, take a glass of water,
sparkling
and go downstairs.
or still?
Yeah, exactly. But like the whole, it's just a thing that's in me, because then I use my physical powers, my aggressive nature, I use it for good instead of for things that are not productive.
But do you get restless if you sit still and do nothing?
I don't do sit still. No.
Let us know when it gets too much.
No, I'm working with it. I have tricks like this. Yeah, just moving the.
One thing that's interesting is that that whole thing about seeing things from the guest perspective. We spoke with Nana Panduro from Gastromet. And she had this concept after becoming a CEO.
The new CEO, right?
Yeah. She wants all of the staff. So I think it was at least once a month. Once a quarter or something.
Sometimes a year.
But to go and eat at the restaurant as a guest.
Of course, they need to know. Yeah. We did. We always did the same. The funny things about her is she's not from the business, so she looks at it in a different way, and that's very good for fine dining restaurants to kind of switch it up a bit. Because I remember when I was a student and I had my first fine dining experience, And I've been working in fine dining at that point of time in 2 years, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing what the chef told me to do. You know, why are we doing things like this? Because he told me to. You know, start reflecting of why are we doing what we're doing, and one of the ways you can learn that as a staff is to see it in the other part of the kitchen and the waiter situation. Yeah.
But we also spoke with restaurant owners who absolutely hate eating at their own restaurants.
I never did.
Because they just spot all the things that are wrong and everything that could be better, so they can't really have a relaxed time doing it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's also why you should be doing it, to spot those things.
I did it the last half year at Ghrelin. I started doing it. I always did it when we had like events where the students were in control, where they did their concepts. We had elev-aftener, as it's called, so like the student evenings, where they decide the concept, the interior, the music, everything they decided. It could be French, it could be Asian, it could be whatever. And I was always sitting there also to support them in what they were doing. But it's very important to eat in your own restaurant, but I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
I get it, because you cannot enjoy it the same way,
you
right?
You can enjoy it, and you know your staff is nervous, and you know that no, I don't like it, but I think it's necessary as well at some point of time. But it's hard to kind of find the balance between being the head chef and the owner. In my opinion, I've never seen anyone manage it. I've seen a lot of people be, having that title as an owner and a head chef, but I don't really see people.
Why do you think it goes wrong?
You can't, again, it's the same. You can't have 100% focus in the kitchen and always running a business. And sometimes, I remember when I was a head chef and I start my mise en place, I start doing what I need to do, and then the phone calls, boom. Then I leave the kitchen for 15 minutes. Then you come back, continue a job. Then your phone rings again, boom. Then a waiter comes, has a question, boom. And then the things that you're actually cooking is just not, you're not focused.
You're losing several hours on quality.
Yeah.
You just mentioned something which I find very interesting to go a little deeper into.
Yeah.
The mindset of cooks, especially maybe at a little lower level, not to say it in a bad way, that they are just there to cook. And you mentioned you really want to focus on the guest experience. How do you instill that change into them to start thinking more about that? Like, you're working a lot with coaching now as well?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a lot of coaching to kind of understand people's mentality, especially just in everyday life, making sure that people get the promotion they want to, wanted to be the father that they really want to be, and also not just having coaching sessions, but we're launching an online platform in January because we're going to give these tools to a lot of people. We are a team of in big coaching. But to answer your question about the cooks, I just ask them, what would you like? Because that's what some cooks forget. And it's hard for me to tell what's the difference between a chef and a cook. But like a guy that just comes in and cooks as a job, you might as well have him just chopping lumber, I'm just chopping, chop. I'm doing things for the fire, or I'm carpeting, or whatever. But when you're cooking, you can ask people, how would you like your own, chicken masala? How would you like it? I would like it like this. Let's do it then. If you make a soup, and you've done 300 soups this day, and you ask him, would you like a cold soup or a hot soup? I would like a hot soup. Well, you just served 2 cold soups. Yeah, I was busy, but would you be happy with it? No. Okay. So just kind of putting in the mindset, why are we doing what we're doing? But if you are just hiding away in the kitchen, like in the restaurants that I'm running, it's not an issue. But in some restaurants, it is. You have a kitchen in the basement, and the guests are sitting upstairs. The cooks and the chefs never see the guests. So having and eating the experience in the restaurant is very important. But I just talked to the guys about it. This bun, it seems like it's baked too much. Yeah, it got 10 minutes too much in the oven. Okay. So should I just give the guest a discount on it, or are we gonna do some new ones? And would you like to eat it? Try and eating it, and just giving them an understanding of it and just talk them through it. And then it's different ways you need to talk to them. That's the thing about coaching. You can't just say this is the right way to do it. So I try to talk to them about it, and they are very impressionable, and they take it in, and they really want to do it. And I'm very happy for that.
See a lot of improvement since you started with?
Yeah. The mentality, especially, like the businesses are good, but like the whole idea of not being 6 singular restaurants, but like being a part of the food family group. Because now I I move staff from place to place. If I have a very good sommelier here, and that's not that busy, he helps over here with the wine selection and, trying to combine things so we use our strength so that the guy that is just there to cook, he actually gets a bit, inspired by somebody else being able to do something different. And I work with a lot of good guys and very skilled people as well, like very, very skilled chefs in Food Family Group and very talented waiters. But like everybody can learn from each other. But if I have a great head chef in one of the restaurants, why should he be isolated from the other restaurants? Why can't we meet and talk about, challenges or issues or stuff like that? So yeah, my main job is to run the restaurant, but like it's the whole culture thing that I'm trying to bind together.
Yeah, and it also seems where your interest really lies, right?
It is. Seeing the company and the businesses work is one thing, and it's very important because that's kind of where I get my salary from. But it's the same as Ghrelin, and I want to see people succeed. I want to see my own staff have a good work day. I want to see them have work-life balance. I want them to come see, chef, I just had this idea, let's try it out. Instead of just, hey, chef, clock in, do something, clean it, walk home again. Of course, you need those kind of people as well, but
those kind of people can also be turned into the
exactly, or they can just have a great day as well. Like they come, hey, chef, hey, okay, what are we doing today? Well, we're just doing the same as yesterday. Okay, great, And that kind of positive mindset is very important because in the restaurant business, you have highs and lows, and you have sorrows and you have laughs. And the most important thing as a leader is to make sure that we have more laughs and more good times than the other part. But it's going to be there. We're going to have hard situations. You're going to have a stove that runs out of gas. You're going to have people getting injured. It's a tough game, but it's not life or death. And it might have been that for me before, but it's not.
How has the industry changed since you've started in the kitchen and now you look at the kitchens currently?
Well, I might tick some people off, but the staff situation, people are softer, and it's a good thing. But they are softer, like
less yelling and
less yelling, but also you don't get the fire in people that actually put them to the next level, and the ones that have the fire in them, they also have an opinion, but they have nothing to have it in. They have nothing to hold it in. Like, why am I explaining how to do things? You're 20 years old. Why am I explaining why I want you to do this? Why are you not just saying, yes, chef, and doing it? Because there's two different things. And I do it a lot in big coaching. I call it the difference between management and leadership. And I think we actually talked about it where you visited Ghrelin as well. Like, management is just telling people, move this thing over here. And that's just a yes, chef thing. We are not discussing this. This is what you need to do. Leadership is to tell him, why is it important that we move it? It's important that we move it so you don't spill it over, so the glass doesn't hit the table and the glass went into the food and we have to throw everything out because we don't want the guests to get glass in their mouth. That explanation, there's just not always time. So,
no, and it also depends on
move your glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Yeah, why? I don't have time to tell you why. Just move the glass.
It's a generational difference in there as well, right? Very much.
But it's a good thing because hopefully we get people that are in the business for longer and not hurt. Like I've been operated in both my hands. My left knee, I have arthritis in my whole body. I weighed 170 kilos at one point. It's not because the business is healthy for a guy like me. Some people can manage it. I couldn't. So it's very important also to make sure that the staff can stay there for a long time and enjoy it. But generally, people are softer. Like, I have staff that comes in 10 minutes before their shift start and sit down and eat something and wait until the time to clock in is, and then they go to work. It makes totally sense. It's totally fair. But I could never do it. Like, I could never come in and wait 10 minutes to do something. If I see my colleagues are being busy, I could never do it. But it's not them that's wrong. It's me that needs to change my perspective.
Yeah, no, I
because it's fair. You get money from working this amount of time, and why should you do 10 minutes before? It makes sense.
And then you can just ask yourself, what can you do to motivate that person to...
Exactly. This is not their business.
Yeah,
it's our business. It's not they're on their job, and I need to learn how to embrace that as well. So yeah, it's a different thing, but the people are are patient with me. So yeah.
When you had Ghrelin and you had service, I like the example you just had with leadership and management, because the management part is what goes into service. There's no time to explain.
We're too busy to discuss why we need to.
It's just yes, no. But when the service was over, would you sit down after service?
Yeah,
which is kind of the name.
Yeah,
to reflect on the shift and to do those type of leadership like explanations of different moments throughout the shift.
Every week, every Saturday or every day actually, when I was active in the kitchen. The later years, we did it in a meeting every week on Tuesday, where we talked about last weekend. But if something goes wrong, I would always stay and always debrief the team afterwards, and always talk about what's good and what's not. And it's very important when you do management, if you hurt somebody, or if somebody is not able to take, Christian, I need you to do this now, and I can see in your eyes you are confused or you don't know why or whatever. It's very important that I'm the one who takes the talk with you afterwards and say, Christian, the reason why I told you this is because this and this and this. It's very important. And old guys like me in the business, we need to learn that people communicate in different ways. And I've spent many years understanding it, that some chefs, you can just tell them, I would like you to cook this. Some other chefs, you need to tell them, it's very important that you do this because this of this. Some you just need to show them, and then they understand it. If you put it on a recipe, they wouldn't understand it, but showing them, they understand, because people are so different. And the restaurant business has often just having 20 chefs and say, okay, we're going to do this today, we're going to do it like this. It's 20 different people, especially now in this generation. So we kind of need to learn how to communicate more with them, and that's what I try to embrace and then teach throughout some of the mentorship that I'm doing with different business leaders and head chefs and restaurant owners as well. Through big coaching, kind of talk to them about how can they communicate with their staff, because I learned in the hard way by being there as well. You're
also getting big on social media. Your followers has been increasing a lot over the last couple of years. Do you feel like being on social media helps you understand the younger generation? Because I assume a lot of your followers are the young people.
Yeah, I think it's young people. It's probably not kids, because it is grown-up things that we're talking about. But yeah, I use social media to understand people that I don't have regular time with. And also when I had Ghrelin, the questions that the followers were asking about restaurant business, I always took it for, if one is asking, it might be 100. So when people ask, what does this cost, or why do you use that amount of salt, or why are you using that pan, or which knives do you use, I always think of it as more people actually wanted to ask that question, but they just didn't.
It was just one person who did.
It was just one that did it, and I always thought it like that. So we try, and I try to kind of incorporate it in the way that I do things. If I see a lot of content with people doing burgers, and I read the comments, what they didn't like about that burger, I take it in. I might not agree, and then I might not do anything about it, but I might agree, or I might understand why are they saying this. Is pickled red onion actually too much now? Have we had it for 15 years, and is it time to do something different or whatever? So yeah, I spend a lot of it, especially with my coaching thing, with the live section, especially on TikTok and Instagram, where you see people, especially on TikTok, where you see people that are socially challenged in many ways, and they find solitude with each other on these live platforms. And that's people that I don't normally have a conversation with, not because I don't want to, because they're just not in my day-to-day life. But I can see how they communicate to each other and what's important to them.
And via social media, you can also do it at scale, of course. How did you get started with it in the first place? Was it just for fun?
Totally random. Yeah. Actually, I got surgery in my hand, and I got some morphine, and I was staying at home for a couple of days and having a really, really dizzy time. And I did some crazy videos with different filters on Snapchat, and those videos I sent to friends and family. And then I got bored, and then I made an Instagram account for this character I made. And
what was the character?
I called her Anneliese. It was a girl who liked cheese. Yeah, it was
like a comedy.
Kind of a comedy thing. Yeah. I just did it with friends and family. It was a closed account. It still is. And then TikTok came, and I had some students that were walking around dancing. And what are you doing? This is a TikTok thing, chef. And I'm
like BigCheff, come and dance.
Yeah. And then I watched it, and this is not for me. And then at some point, one of my students uploaded one of my videos with Anneliese, and then it just took off.
So was this one of those first video viral? And you're like,
I think I hit my third or fourth video hit 1 million views in like 24 hours or something. And then it just started with the thing that people just ask me about restaurant things and now life and fitness and So my content is basically just people asking me questions and I'm just asking them, answering them. Yeah, so that's
such a nice concept.
It is
so simple.
It's so simple, and now it's it's a lot less than it has before because of course the interest in me has worn off because I already answered the questions, but. If one guy asks me a question, I answer that one guy, and people can feel that. Like if you write on a comment a question about why did you start in the restaurant business, and I make a video, I'm talking to you, but there's just 100,000 people watching it as well. But I don't care about them. I'm looking at you, and I think right now in social media, people starting to be able to see what is real and what is for clicks and what is has a different thought about it. So yeah. But there's not really that much time for it with coaching and job and family and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Just out of curiosity, like since you started the whole weight loss journey and lost a lot of weight, obviously, what did that do to you in your daily life? Like, what is the differences that you noticed since?
Everything. Like the weight is actually the least thing of it. I never watched the weight. I never weighed myself. Last time I got weighed was at the TV program in January. So.
And how much was it when you did it the first time at the TV program? Just out of curiosity.
I think I lost like 20 around 20 kilos, 24 or something. I actually forget it. Like I manipulate my brain a lot to forget things that I don't want to know.
Yeah, good.
Kind of a skill I have. So every month you got weighed in and then you get the results. And 2 days after I got the results, I forget them. Like for some reason. So every month I was kind of anxious. What's now, right? But no, everything, like all the small things, like sleeping. I thought it was normal to wake up 2 or 3 times a day. I thought it was normal. But now I sleep through. Just visiting the toilet is a different experience because now I visit the toilet like normal people. I go once a day, I do my business, instead of 3 or 5 days times a day where it's just like, take 30 seconds because everything you're eating is either unhealthy, you're stressed out in your head, you don't sleep enough. Driving, like if we were going someplace, I could drive there, but when we go home, I get sleepy, like where my eyes just really I really want to sleep. All those crazy stuff, like just being mobile levels. And playing with my son, like we fight every day, me and my son, every day. Every day, it's in the bed.
Keep him out of the cages.
Boom, boom, yeah, but it's like every day. And he started playing handball when he was 2 years old, and I was just sitting on the sideline, and my wife was doing the whole thing, playing and stuff like that. And now it's just me and him, just running around like crazy, and amazing. I'm able to go down on the floor and up again and stuff like that. So it's everything. It's like, I really want to have people. I really want people to understand that. If you want to lose weight, or if you just want to do something that is better for yourself, most people already know how to do it. They already know,
You just have to do it.
You just have to do it, but you have to have a personal friend. Some people, like me, needed a personal friend to help you. Like the fitness coach that I had, Mark Abelhauge from the television program. He's a coach. He's the physical things, but he looks at you as a human. Okay, if you want to lose that amount of weight, Anders, you need to work out 4 times a week. You need to sweat, and you need to bleed, and you need to decide that you are not going to spend the time with your kids or your restaurant. You're going to do all those kind of things, and you need to only eat broccoli. And I could do it, and I could lose a lot more weight than I did in the program, but I could never hold it. It was just about time. Every time you start something, every time you start kind of like I don't know the English word for it, but like a session or like a stage of things. A cycle. It has to end at some point. So my mentality was just let's just do something that I can do now and in 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is like making habits.
Yeah, and making the balance of it. So like it was way more mental. And I just see, especially with some of the other contestants, like if I help them, I get bigger, I get stronger. Some of the challenges we had, I was scared of them, but I became bigger and stronger because I was helping other people. And I already knew, if I want to lose weight, exercise more, eat less, everybody knows it. But you need somebody or some tools to kind of figure out how you're going to do it by yourself. And at one of the meetings I had today, I was talking with a guy about it, and I just said, what's your issue? Well, if things is on the table, I'm going to eat it. Okay, let's just put less things on the table.
Yeah, but it's the simple start. It's the same with like if you have it at home in the closet.
Yeah, but people knows it. People know what to do, but just having somebody doing it. And then if you go to social media and you see a lot of coaches, and you wanna be ripped before summer, you want to do this, or you want to earn money in Dubai, or
sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up. And it's like, no, that's like our platform. Big Coaching Online is just going to be like a very small amount of money just to get a lot of tools and to get access to all these small things that can change your life. I'm not doing it to get rich. I'm not doing it to even make money. I'm still going to keep my job in Food Family Group. This is just the way where I can reach way more people than I am now, where the only coaching that I'm doing is mentorship or a one-on-one coaching, and that takes a lot of time. So just having a platform where people can go in and get those tools. We're going to do it for restaurateurs as well and people in the restaurant business. I know a lot of people that are having a hard time with their work. And when you talk about the issue with them, you can always define what it actually is. The head chef is an idiot. He tells me this and this and call me bad names. Okay, I don't like it, but why do you think why does he do it? Maybe he forgot the salt in the bread for the second time this week. How many times have you done the bread recipe? 100 times. I'm not saying it's okay to call you an idiot, but do you know why he's frustrated? Oh yeah, I can see that. Okay, so maybe you should talk with him about, okay, I'm sorry you're frustrated, but please don't talk to me like that. And if he says, this is just the way it is here, you can say, okay, you have your personal integrity. You say, okay, thank you, I'm not going to stay here anymore. But at least I took something from it. It's very important to put salt in the bread dough. And just understanding that you need to take things with you all the time. Having closed chapters or looking back or regretting things is just never a way to improve yourself. So communicating with people and giving them tools, I think, is one of my passions, my biggest passion right now for still evolving the whole coaching idea. And I'm implementing it in my job as well. So I'm just so happy that I can do food and coaching at the same time.
Yeah, but it's also a great addition, I would say, because as we spoke about in the beginning, a lot of the coaching in the industry is practical. It's not about the things you're just mentioning here. It's not a lot of mirrors about how you're actually being. It's more about the actual work you produce.
Exactly.
So there's a lot to gain there, I would say. We're slowly running out of time, but I just want to shortly talk about something we spoke about all the way in the beginning, because I feel like we didn't really get to talk about it. When you started Ghrelin and when you did Ghrelin the entire period, you mentioned you made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
What is the biggest one in general? Let's start there.
My biggest mistake as a leader and owner of Ghrelin was I gave people too many chances. I didn't understand that one rotten egg could infect a lot of things. We had a meeting at some point with a sous chef, and we were talking about one of our waiters. And we have been talking about this waiter a long time. We had some issues with the waiter, not on the service thing, he did everything perfectly, but like in the culture. And this sous chef from the kitchen just said, every time we're having a meeting, we're talking about this guy. And I'm like, you're right. But I just didn't, I didn't have it in me to tell the guy, you're not evolving, you're standing still, and your colleagues are not enjoying working with you because you come late and you don't fit the culture.
You don't care.
Yeah, because he did his job. His job was waiting at people and doing service. He did, but the rest of the guys was just giving more, and they. So my biggest weakness and what has been the biggest struggle and mistake was not being, not thinking the big picture. I was always thinking about the small picture when it comes to staffing, that one bad egg can just ruin a lot, and it can ruin the mood for other staff, and they're gonna be doing worse, and they're not gonna be happy with their job because it was not an issue for me, but one in my coaching has a head chef who was kind of bullying the other people, and nobody stood up to him. And then one staff came to him, my client, and said that he would like to leave. Why? You're so happy, and we just had this fun. And yeah, but this guy is bullying me. And what are you doing then? Are you going to your head chef and says that's an issue, or you're just firing him right away when you figure out there's actually a bigger picture in it? And yeah, I probably made some decisions that unfortunately was not the best, thinking about the rest of my staff, because I wanted to give one guy or one girl a chance. I always see the best in people, and if you do that too much, it can actually hurt your team. And yeah, that was a lesson I've learned the hard way.
Yeah,
more than once.
But it makes sense, right? Because when you're saying, oh, you're thinking about one person and maybe helping him.
Helping him or remembering from what was good. It's kind of like a relationship.
Yeah.
You always think about with your ex-girlfriend, this was bad and this was bad, but that might be 20% of your relationship that was bad. You had 80% that was good, and I'm just really thinking about the good things and how people are performing when they're doing good. And that led to other staff actually paying for my mistakes. And right now I have two rules when I run the business. I'm never gonna be a hostage in my own restaurants. I'm never gonna be so reliant on one staff that I'm not doing what I think is best for Food Family Group. That's one thing. And I never accept being disrespected. Like, that's just the thing. And maybe it's from the street, but I don't. It's just never gonna happen. And I might have been disrespected before and just took it on the chin because it's the best for the team, but it just wasn't. Because if you one time do it, example is if I tell you not to wear that on work because it might do something for the guest, or we are working in chef jackets, and then you say, yeah, of course, chef, and then 2 days after you're doing it again. You're not stupid. You're disrespecting me. That's a choice you're doing because you think you are invulnerable. It's because you think I can't do it without you. So those two things I don't accept. I don't want to be a hostage in my restaurants. I don't want to be so independent, or I don't want to be so dependent on you that it actually hurts my leadership, and I don't want to be disrespected. The leadership part of it is not to feel disrespected when people are just making mistakes, because that happens as well. But if you know people are buying the wrong ingredient because they're just disrespecting you, you need to handle it right away.
Yeah, but there's a difference between making a mistake or doing something on purpose.
Exactly. But that's the leadership's, that's the leader's job, and that's why I'm so focused on it. But, if I tell you not to buy this type of milk and you keep doing it because you think as a head chef it's best, we have a problem.
Yeah, and that's also where the difference between management and leadership comes back, right? Some things are you have to do it. The other things are like, why do we pick this milk, and why do you believe we need the other milk?
Yeah, and
then
that's
you work
why
on it together.
Exactly, and that's why it's very important to understand the big picture that I didn't do when I was a head chef. So yeah, that was probably my biggest mistake, was just
letting it drag out for too long as well.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I heard a football coach say that when a star player starts to drop, he sells him right away. He might have been doing well for another season, but he knows he's still going to drop. And if you have a star player dropping, the team around it are going to lose respect for his talent, and then they're going to drop. But it's very hard to kind of just cut the thread, like just saying, boom.
Yeah, because that player has been loyal to the club and performing. You have a lot of history.
But your job as a football coach is to win football games.
Exactly. So and it also becomes more tricky the higher the level becomes. And I think especially now the experience coming back from doing the high-end restaurants, I think there the struggle becomes bigger and bigger. Like we're seeing it now with football, right? If you don't replace them enough, early enough, you're gonna get hurt.
It's a tough lesson. Yeah. It's a tough lesson, but it's something that I also train people in understanding and kind of figure out what's the mentality behind it and what's easiest. But like if the decision is easy, it's probably not the right decision. Like some things just need to be hard, and working with people is hard. You need to have a big heart and a big social brain to do what I do, both in coaching and what I do with my nearly 100 staff that I'm managing now. It's a big thing, but I think it's so interesting because you see people evolve, and that's what makes me stronger and better, is to see people succeed.
Thank you so much, Hannes.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.